So when you're at home practicing in front of the mirror, swinging your paddle by yourself, you've already swung it like 8 times and the movement feels really familiar, almost to the point of perfection. But when you actually get to the real table, as soon as you swing suddenly, even the most basic shots, you can't hit them at all. Why is it that when you're swinging the paddle at home, it feels like you're really good, but when you try it in practice, you just can't replicate it? Is it because the wind resistance at home is better? Of course not. It's because from start to finish, what you're doing doesn't really have much effect. First of all, you need to understand that the reason you can't hit the ball isn't actually because your technique is wrong, but because your body and your rhythm are completely out of sync. When you practice swinging the paddle by yourself, it's a closed system. What does that mean? You can feel it 1, 2, 3 swings. It's very fixed. This is just an instruction your brain gives to your body, but the rhythm is rigid and unchanging. However, in reality, when you actually play, it's an open system. When your opponent sends a ball over, there will be variations. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes slow, sometimes high, sometimes low. But sometimes there's spin, sometimes there isn't. So when you're playing table tennis, it's actually a game of space and distance. If you just keep practicing swinging the paddle on your own, it's like playing a music game. When you know the music, you're just randomly pressing buttons. But when the ping pong ball comes over, that's a real rhythm. If you use the rigid movements you've memorized to hit the ball, that's when you'll start making mistakes. No matter how good your technique looks, if every time you hit, it feels like you're just hitting air, it can be really hard to understand. So let's do a test to see if you have an issue with rhythm. You can find a friend to stand at the side and hold a ping pong ball. You get ready to do your swing, but your friend will give you an unpredictable ball, sometimes high, sometimes low. Remember, it has to be irregular, just like this. Before the ball reaches its highest point, you've already swung your paddle. Or it could be the opposite. When the ball drops to its lowest point, what about your movement? Maybe your hand is already out, stuck at your chest. Well, congratulations. This experiment proves that what your brain discovers is that there's actually no mechanism for waiting or timing the moment. All your brain does is numbingly exert force. This is just muscle memory. If that's the case, you're not really playing table tennis. You're just mechanically repeating a table tennis routine. So how can you break through this bottleneck? So when there's no ball, you still have to act as if there is one and play accordingly. Next time you practice your strokes without a ball, don't just train mechanically like that. In your mind, you need to have a visual. Imagine your opponent hitting the ball over to you, and you're already prepared. When the table tennis ball crosses the net, you're already waiting for it. In your mind, you should have the whole scene, the entire trajectory of the ball. When your opponent hits the ball over, you're ready again. Then as the table tennis ball crosses the net, you're waiting for the right moment, which is when it bounces onto the table. So when you swing your paddle out again, you need to wait and incorporate the timing of the hit with your movement. I've noticed that many people are passionate about this sport. After work or school, they still persist in practicing these shadow swings, but they can't apply it in actual play. I've experienced this situation myself, so don't get discouraged. Next time you do shadow swings, try to incorporate this little detail. You'll find that in real situations, you'll be able to use it flexibly. Remember to actually use it, because knowing something but not using it is the same as not knowing it at all. Let's keep working hard together.